Hello, welcome to America's Heroes Live Group Stream Digital Media Show. And I am Jenn Wagman, founder, president, and host of Generally Speaking Vets with Jenn, the podcast, and America's Heroes Group media partner. October is National Breast Cancer, Mental Health Disability, and Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Today is October 30th, and tonight I'm going to speak to you about a few things regarding women's veterans issues. And I am going to start by talking to you a little bit about some of the main things that I find to be most pressing with respect to women's veterans issues, because I think that as we head closer to Veterans Day, I am going to be sitting on a panel at Towson University on Saturday, November 9th, and I would love to hear from any of you who are tuning in. And I'm going to give you my email address. I'd encourage you to also please send in any comments onto the website for Gen Vets, jenw@genvets.org, and let me know what you think so that I have some more things to address at this roundtable that I'm going to be participating in this panel. There are going to be a lot of interesting women that are going to be there and participants that will be there to discuss these things with. So I'd be very interested in hearing your thoughts. To me, when I was in California, in San Diego, a couple weeks ago at a CalVets conference, I heard Brigadier General Marlena DeSalle. She's the Deputy Commanding General, brilliant woman, speaking about women veterans. And one of the things that she spoke about was that there are 2 million to 2 million veterans to 2.2 million women veterans. And in 2020, I'm gonna stutter over my words here. In 2023, there are 16.2 million women veterans. In 2048, there are expected to be 10 million veterans. And pardon me, that's veterans. So the downward trend in veterans, and it's supposed to go from 2 million and then the 2.2 million, the increase in women veterans. So we're seeing a downward trajectory in the number of veterans overall, but an increase in the number of female veterans. So I apologize for massively screwing that up in terms of getting it across to you. But my point is that there is a very large number of increase in female veterans, a decrease in veterans overall, and we have a big number of issues that are facing our female population, which are not being addressed as well as I personally would like to see, and the number of clients I deal with and veterans who are not necessarily my clients, but that I talk to on a regular basis and interact with, mention and bring to me. The first among them is the transition process, and what has basically been described as finding the mission again. And that is a very difficult thing, as it has been, when they come back, what is facing them, whether they are married, having children, and have to become mom again, in addition to finding a job, transitioning out, which is a problem in general for all veterans. Let me be clear about that. So it is military service is distinct. It is one of many hats, but women in general, having to deal with poverty, employment barriers, mental health, homelessness, it's a different scale than male counterparts because of gender issues. Dealing with homelessness in particular is different because there is a level at which having to find housing when you are female, especially when you have children. There are many homeless shelters that will not mix you with men. So the ability for you to find a shelter is not the same as being a man. So it is something that is very different, very difficult. And I do apologize. Your Commander Wells here. So causes and consequences of having no home is much different for women vets. And we need to focus on outreach that is specifically targeted to female veterans and their needs, and ensuring that these women are getting the care and the resources that they need. The next thing that we need to focus upon is the mental health resources that are available for women. MST, military sexual assault, is something that is it's grossly underreported. There are not enough resources in the military, in active duty, and outside to handle. Most women do not report what has happened inside because they are afraid it will affect their promotion, their promotability, their ability to continue at serving as is, whether they're being promoted or not. They don't want any kickback for what's happening while they're still serving. They're embarrassed. Things are much different. For as bad as it is in the civilian world, it is even worse. From what I understand, I've not served on the inside. So finding the resources, the counselors, even the programs, so that there is someone that they can talk to on the inside without having the repercussions, that we need to be able to do better by them. So that's another issue. And I guess what I'm saying is that I need to be able to bring these sorts of issues and understand what it is that everybody wants to be able to talk about, needs to be able to talk about, and having that open line of communication is something that I would like to, the website would like to be able to understand from you by writing in. Another thing that was brought up that I find to be very interesting is the lack of visibility and understanding from outside people that women serve at all. One of the main issues that we have as a society is sort of this belief that only men serve, and it's a bias, an inherent bias, I guess, that you look and we see men, and I don't think it's intentional on anyone's part, but one of the things I heard the most is at this convention I was at in California was that veterans will pull into a space or pull up to valet in a veteran parking, and someone would say, "I'm sorry, this is for veterans only." And it was a woman driving a car, and she would say, "I am a veteran." And whether they would look at her twice and, side eye, like, "Really?" Or, "You sure it wasn't your husband?" But the solution in California was to create a license plate that indicated female veteran service, so that there was no misunderstanding. And it's something that I plan to propose here in Maryland, and that's something that I'd like to talk about in at the forum in the roundtable at Towson University. One of the many things that we'll be talking about that day, but it's something that should be considered in all states. I think it's something that's brilliant. Another thing, that we'll be talking about is resource fairs when we're talking about employment, and interviewing, clothing for interviews, how expensive it is. It's considerably more expensive for the amount of a man can wear a suit, sort of the same suit. It's much more different for when women have multiple. You can't wear the same thing over and over and over again. So having those sorts of closet availability, during these job fairs is something that was brought up in California. A women's boutique, when you are running your resource fairs for veterans, doing the interview techniques and online search fairs and resume building things, that's something else that can be done. But the main thing that we will be doing, at Towson University is going to be on, it will be on Saturday, November 9th, and I am going to give the information here because that will be the easiest way to convey it. And we'll just need 1 second. And it would be helpful if I'm looking in the right thing. Okay, so Towson University and Baltimore County Commission for Veterans Affairs, and it will be a Veterans Day celebration resource fair and military appreciation game tailgate. And that will be Saturday, November 9th from 10 to 2:30 p.m. Towson University's Union Building and then Unitas Stadium. Parking will be at Towson University's Union Garage. And questions can be directed at 410-704-2991. And the resource fair will be at the Union Building in the ballroom on the 3rd floor. And the event will be from 10 a.m. to 2:30 on Sunday, November 9th. And setup will begin at 8:30. And of course, there will be breakfast beginning at 9:30. Mission Barbecue will be there, providing free food because Mission Barbecue is awesome. And the football game will be afterward. I think Dario DiBattista, who's the director of the Military and Veterans Center at Towson University and part of the Baltimore County Veterans Commission, is an amazing coordinator of all of this and has put a lot of time into putting this together. And anyone who can come out and join that, it would be a wonderful thing for you to do and join. And I do hope that anybody who can put together that information for me will do that. So I look forward to that, and thank you for doing that for me. So